Hi, I'm Steve Younis. Welcome to the Speeding Bulletin, your Superman news video recapping the events of the week July 3rd to July 9th, 2015. Our top news stories this week included Batman v Superman is ready to take over San Diego Comic-Con, CBS releases a new Supergirl promo video, and we get a first look at some new Superman merchandise about to be released. Let's check out these stories and more in this week's Speeding Bulletin. In movie news, in the Special Entertainment Weekly Comic-Con Preview magazine, director Zack Snyder talks about how Man of Steel will lead into Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, and speaks directly about the damage seen in the final battle between Superman and Zod, and the criticism the movie received because of that death and destruction. The director says he has always intended for the dead to be counted. Indeed, Batman v Superman addresses these concerns head-on. The victims from that battle serve as Batman's impetus to take down Superman. In another EW.com report, Henry Cavill is quoted as reiterating that Batman v Superman isn't exactly a sequel to Man of Steel, while also addressing the questions regarding another standalone Superman film. He said there's plenty of time for individual Superman sequels. Once we have a more expansive universe, we can delve more into the character of Superman and hopefully tell more stories. DC Entertainment unveiled 3 Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice statues, which are on display at San Diego Comic-Con. The statues are scheduled to be released in January next year and are expected to retail for around $150. Wednesday night was preview night for the start of the 2015 Comic-Con International in San Diego, and with fans hitting the floor of the convention, plenty of photos and videos began to emerge. We posted some of the better ones we found so far, showing off some of the Superman-related booths and displays. Check them out at our website now. Junk Food and DC Comics released an exclusive Batman v Superman limited edition t-shirt at Comic-Con, which is only available until July 17th. You can also order the t-shirt online through junkfoodclothing.com. ToyArk.com has a series of photos of the Play Arts Kai DC Comics display at Comic-Con, which includes a striking Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Superman figure. While ToyArk.com and SuperheroNews.com both have a gallery of images of the weapons Batman will be using against Superman in the movie. Mattel also has a series of action figures which are on display at Comic-Con. Earlier last week I was alerted to a thread started at the IMDb message boards where someone had posted an alleged detailed plot description for Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice. I didn't pay too much attention to it at the time, but with the recent release of new stills from the movie by EW.com, details from the posted plot description seemed more credible. For example, the post specifies a scene in which Bruce Wayne is dancing and flirting with Diana Prince at a fundraising event. And we then got the image from the film of that very scene a few days later. I have no way of confirming whether the rumoured plot description posted at IMDb is for real or not. Having read it, it does seem rather detailed and includes many elements that sound plausible and actually quite impressive. If you do choose to head on over to the IMDb message boards and read the possible detailed plot description for yourself, be warned that it may contain major spoilers. We'll wait and see whether any of these are true. Stay tuned. Filmmaker John Schnepp has released the first 10 minutes of The Death of Superman Lives What Happened, the full-length documentary which examines the story behind the proposed 1998 Superman Lives movie, which is now online via his YouTube channel. Join John as he explores the history of this project and speaks with writers Kevin Smith, Wesley Strick, Dan Gilroy, producers John Peters and Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, costume designer Colin Atwood, director Tim Burton, and many more. The Death of Superman Lives What Happened is now available on DVD, Blu-ray and video on demand through the documentary's website at tdoslwh.com. While not officially a Superman movie, the Iron Giant is considered as such by many Superman fans, with the Man of Steel heavily inspiring the characters of the 1998 adventure movie. And now, 16 years later, the Iron Giant animated movie is back in theatres for a limited run. In what's dubbed the Iron Giant Signature Edition, the movie will be remastered and enhanced with 2 new seasons. It'll be released through Fathom Events on September 30th, with an encore in select markets on October 4th. Locations and ticket on-sale date will be announced in August at fathomevents.com. In TV news, CBS has released a new spot via the official Supergirl Facebook page. Check it out.
Hey, Carl, what are you doing? Get away from the... Kara! You're her.
Yep. This girl is the answer. There is nothing people love more than a hero. I got him. People of this city will die.
Make sure you win.
Oh my God. I know!
Many fans have questioned how and when Superman will be involved in the Supergirl TV series, and EW.com spoke with the show's executive producer Ali Adler to find out. He said that despite making a brief and very backlit appearance in the Supergirl pilot, as depicted in the screenshot you're looking at now, Superman will not be playing a big role on the series. In comic book news, with the heroes of Earth 2 having been stranded without a world of their own after the events of Convergence, writer Daniel H. Wilson reveals to DCComics.com in an interview just what's happening with these characters, and which character in particular we should look out for in the new ongoing series, Earth 2 Society. He said, "I think keeping an eye on Jimmy is going to be pretty fun because he's going to take on a larger role, gain more power, and become a really interesting character." Comic books we reviewed this week included Action Comics number 42, which was reviewed by Michael Bailey, who gave it a 2 out of 5, saying, "This is the first pack-written Superman tale that does nothing for me." T.A. Ewart reviewed Bizarro number 2, saying, "Bizarro has been a disappointment thus far, and the biggest reason is that it just isn't funny," and he rated it a 3 out of 5. Injustice Year 4 Chapter 9 was also reviewed by T.A. Ewart, who gave it a 2 out of 5, saying the fight between Superman and Wonder Woman has done absolutely nothing to push the story further. Superman comics available this week from July 8th include Injustice Gods Among Us Year 4 Chapter 10 digital comic has been available since July 7th. Batman Superman number 22, which is available in a variant cover. Earth 2 Society number 2, which is also available in a variant cover. Injustice Gods Among Us Year 4 number 5 print edition. Justice League of America number 2, which is available in a variant Teen Titans Go cover and another variant cover. Justice League number 41 second printing, and Justice League Volume 6 in Justice League hardcover. Keep your hands warm and your can cold with these cool looking Superman can koozies. Grab yourself a Superman can koozie for just $6.74. Or how about a Superman with red cape can koozie for $8.57? These and other great Superman can koozies are available from One Stop Superman Shop, the Superman homepage online store at supermanhomepage.com/shop. In other news, Warner Bros. Consumer Products is at Comic-Con International in support of its licensing partners as they feature exclusive products and giveaways throughout the 4-day event. Some of these exclusives include NECA's DC Comics HeroClix Brainiac Skull Ship. Back in April, DC Entertainment and Mattel announced the upcoming launch of DC Superhero Girls, an exciting new universe of superheroic storytelling that helps build character and confidence and empowers girls to discover their true potential. This week, the official website for DC Superhero Girls went live with profiles on Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Batgirl, Harley Quinn, Bumblebee, Poison Ivy, and Katana. More content is expected to be added in the near future. The website will eventually include an immersive digital experience, original digital content, and digital publishing, providing opportunities for girls to interact with characters, learn about the storylines, and engage in customizable play. TV specials, toys, apparel, books, and other product categories will begin to roll out in 2016. A screen from what appears to be a possible new Superman video game found its way online this week. The graphic, found both as a still and as a motion GIF, is of a bio page showing the New 52 skin for Kal-El, aka Superman. There's speculation that the video game is in the works at WB Games Montreal, but there's been no confirmation or any other evidence beyond this one screen. We'll keep you posted if we learn anything else. Originally released back in 1965, Crazy Foam made bath time fun for kids with a variety of character cans that included Superman and the Justice League. The original Crazy Foam is back in 2015 with an all-new line of Justice League character cans with new and retro designs. The DC Comics Crazy Foam cans are available from Kroger supermarkets across the USA. The world's favourite engines meet the world's greatest superheroes as Thomas and Friends collide with DC Super Friends for a mighty mashup. Check out the Thomas and Friends DC Super Friends mashups brought to life in an animated short. This animated short ties in with new Mattel line Thomas and Friends DC Super Friends minis. Fans in Mexico can grab special Justice League versions of Oreo cookies in Superman, Batman, Green Lantern or the Flash designs. The 4 superheroes have their own symbol embossed into the face of each Oreo, with collectible stickers also on offer inside each pack. Finally, I wanted to let you know that Superman homepage reporter Lewis James is in San Diego attending Comic-Con International for us once again this year, and where possible he'll be giving us live Twitter updates on all the Superman-related panels and events, which will automatically be posted on our website across all 4 days, and especially during the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice panel, which takes place on Saturday morning. That's all the news there was for the week July 3rd to July 9th. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.
Great Scott. Great Scott. Great Scott.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. Thanks for watching. Even though I'm a week late as far as the Bulletin is concerned, where we talked about the kind of plot reveals and photos that were in Entertainment Weekly as of last week, I thought I'd talk about it this week. I want to talk about it now! Henry Cavill did say in the Entertainment Weekly magazine that, and we'd heard this before, as far as the Superman individual character is concerned, this isn't a straight-up sequel to Man of Steel. It's more of an introduction to Batman, the Justice League, the world of DC Comics outside of Man of Steel, but a continuation of the universe that was presented in Man of Steel. And what I find cool about that is, as we've talked about before, as much of a failure people want to paint Man of Steel as being, as much of a horrible filmmaker people want to paint Zack Snyder as being, DC has decided to go with him. DC has decided to go with his vision of the universe. DC has decided to continue that vision of that universe in films down the line. And based on that vision, based on that universe, based on the continuation that's happening here, we're going to get Justice League, and Suicide Squad, and Green Lantern, and Cyborg, and Flash, and Wonder Woman, and all these other movies that are all still based in the Man of Steel universe. There are things people didn't like. One of the things people didn't like about Man of Steel was the apparent collateral damage that was caused by Superman's throwdown with Zod. I still maintain that most of the damage, and most of the supposedly hundreds of thousands of deaths that would have occurred during this battle, happened because of Zod's world engine, happened because he was going to terraform the entire planet. Did Superman not get in the battle with him and stop him, humanity would all be destroyed. So, in turn, if some people did die because of this war, because of this maniac, because of this person that was terraforming the planet and destroying buildings in the city, and even if there were some collateral in the fight, although the building that they ran into was empty, the one that fell down because of them fighting, the building that the Daily Planet staffers were running from was knocked down because of the world engine, which Superman had nothing to do with. You can go all the way back and say, well, if Superman wasn't here, if Superman didn't activate the scout ship, if Superman didn't do all this, then Zod wouldn't have seen him and Zod wouldn't have come here. But Zod's purpose for coming here was to terraform the planet. He wanted Superman to join him, but join him in destroying humanity. Superman decided that wasn't going to happen. They had a fight. There was a lot of damage. There was a lot of damage caused by the world engine, but they're going to address that in Batman v Superman. What I found interesting when I was reading it, and some people have pointed out to me that Snyder is now saying that he was going to have a creative kryptonite delivered to Wayne Manor at the end of Man of Steel in a credit sequence. And we've heard before, the DC powers that be have said, we don't do that. That's Marvel's thing. We don't have end credit sequences. Our movies are more serious. They're more realistic. They're more gritty. They're more dark. A lot of people don't like that. But the truth is, it is a different feel. The Marvel movies, while fun, and while make lots and lots of money, and more so far than the DC Universe movies, are much more goofy. There's a lot of comedy in it. There's a lot of camaraderie. There's a lot of Hulk punching Thor across the room. There's a lot of goofiness while people are dying outside in an alien invasion. There wasn't any of that in Man of Steel. There were a couple of comedic beats, as there are in any movie, but it's much more darker, much more gritty, much more realistic, and that seems to be what's happening with Batman v Superman, though we haven't seen it yet. The real idea that people would react differently. Some would love the idea of a Superman, some would hate the idea of a Superman. Many are going to be angry with Superman just because of what happened the last time he was in a big battle, and a lot of people are never going to get over it. Loved ones they're going to know will have died in that battle, whether it was directly Superman's fault or not, and it's very realistic that people would have that type of reaction. What a lot of fans will complain about is The filmmakers didn't need to put him in that position. Didn't need to set Superman up to be the guy that could be blamed, or to be the guy that people could hate. But we are in a skeptical world, and we are in a position where if that sort of thing really did happen, these kinds of reactions would be caused by it. Some other things they talk about in the article is Wonder Woman coming to the forefront. She's going to have a very important role to play in this movie, they say, and that's good. Hopefully it's bringing these guys together. Another thing that's great about that is she makes mention that she thinks it's long overdue that a female heroine gets to head up a movie, a superhero. Long overdue, it's never been done. So the fact that it's happening is great. There have been female-driven Wonder Woman, I think is the only one I can think of, on TV. There's going to be Supergirl now. But a movie franchise, sure, Black Widow's in the other ones, Scarlet Witch is in the other ones, but they haven't headed up their own film. And if they do it right, I think a Wonder Woman film could be great. I love her costume. I love how she looks. A lot of people have talked about her being too small and too skinny. If you look at most comic book interpretations of Wonder Woman, she's tall, but she's lanky and thin. She has some fitness to her, but she's not a big, muscle-bound Amazon, as people use the word. I think it doesn't necessarily mean giant, and clearly not here. And in most, as I say, comic book interpretations, she's kind of lithe and muscular, but muscular in a fit way, not big and thick. The other thing that I read was the skeptical scene between Bruce and Alfred sounds really great. When I saw it in the trailer, it's what I thought it was. It's that this is what turns good men cruel. The idea that he's going to preemptively strike a guy who appears to be here to help, even if some terrible things happened while he was helping, because he was fighting a maniac who was bent on destruction of the Earth. Alfred is skeptical of Bruce's reasons and what that means for his morality and if he's correct or not. And it sounds like Bruce is going to preemptively strike against Superman. Now, Superman may go there because he's been lured there by Batman because of something Batman makes him think he does. But he's still the one that is seeking this altercation, is what it sounds like. We haven't seen it yet. Another thing that was mentioned, we pointed out when the pictures of the building that we thought was Wayne Manor surfaced before, we thought, is this going to be kind of a derelict Wayne Manor, a Wayne Manor that was used years ago and hasn't been in a long time? In this article, they do talk about it, the windowless, derelict Wayne Manor in the background. It's real, it was built, they found this building and then they built a set around it and everything. So some of those theories are true. It's going to be a broken down Wayne Manor for some reason. I'm sure we'll find out why as we move forward. But probably the most interesting thing in the article was that when the guys were sitting down to suss out who was going to be the villain of the Man of Steel sequel, which was what this was originally supposed to be, according to this article, they thought of Metallo probably was going to be the villain because Brainiac was too early. They didn't want to do another alien invasion. And then Snyder says that he suggested, what if at the end of the movie, and by reading it, it seems like he's talking about this movie, because it wasn't going to be a Batman v Superman movie at first, what if at the end of the movie we have a box of kryptonite delivered to Wayne Manor? That would then set up a Batman v Superman movie next, and then it sounds like that's when they decided to switch it over. How about instead of a straight sequel, we do a Batman v Superman movie? I still have the theory that Warner Brothers made him do this because they wanted to make sure this movie was more successful than Man of Steel, and they thought by introducing Batman they could do that. But the idea that they were trying to think of villains for this movie, and while trying to think of villains and who could go up against our hero, Zack Snyder said, what if kryptonite was delivered to Wayne Manor? Which to me speaks volumes. I could be wrong. But based on the fact that it sounds like he's going to preemptively strike against Superman, who's only trying to do good, and that even Alfred is skeptical because it's a preemptive strike, and it's a decision that could really teeter him one way or the other, makes him the villainous figure. Doesn't necessarily mean he's evil, but he's the one attacking. He's the one on shaky moral ground, from what this sounds like, and he's the one that they thought of when they were trying to come up with who would be the villain for the next film. Thanks everybody for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky. Another thing that was mentioned was, I don't know what I was going to say.